Retirement is not about working until you're 65. It's actually about the dollar amount that you need to have invested to be able to live off that for the rest of your life. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. And this is why I'm so passionate about, just sharing that this is an option. Today, we're diving into the last part of my 3-part series on how to retire early. If you haven't seen the first 2 videos, be sure to go check them out for how to get in the right mindset and tracking your money and reducing your actual spending. I'll leave the links below and you guys can check those out. But today we are talking all about how much money you actually need to make and have invested to be able to retire. So stay tuned. For those of you who are new here, I'm Katie, a girl on FIRE, and FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. That's right, I'm on my journey to retire early at 35, and I'm bringing you along for the adventure. I'm sharing with you exactly how I'm doing it, a look into my life, and tips and tricks for early retirement. So be sure to like this video so we can spread the fire, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified when the next video drops. And let's talk money, honey. So how much money do you need to actually retire early? The very simplest formula that I'm going to give you, and what actually I did when I first started, was calculate my annual expenses and multiply that by 25. And you're probably wondering why 25? That comes from the Trinity Study, which was a study of retirees' portfolios that once they invested enough money in stocks, how much money they could withdraw and safely never run out of money. And they determined that 4% was a safe withdrawal rate where you could live off that nest egg and never run out of that money. For early retirees, some people play that safe and do their annual expenses times 33. And that just means a safe withdrawal rate of 3%. Take a look at this chart from the Early Retirement Now blog, which basically visualizes the data from the Trinity Study and explains how they got to the 4% rule. And I know I said you would never run out of money, but actually it's more like a 1% chance that you would run out of money based on their study, which is still really, really awesome. If you look in the left column with 75% stocks, assuming the other 25% is bonds, and then the 30-year time horizon, which is what the Trinity Study was based on, and if you go over to 4%, you'll see the 99% success rate. Since we're early retirees, it's a tiny bit different because we're looking at a longer time horizon. We will be retired for more years. So we're looking more at a 60-year time horizon. So I know if you go over to the 4% rule, it says, 85% or 89% if you're 100% stocks of success rate. And I really think that although this data shows you that a lot of early retirees end up pursuing passions that really make them money, even if they don't have to work. And hobbies, I feel like you don't feel like they're work. So they make money, they bring you joy, and whatever you end up doing can be turned profitable, especially when you have that timeline to hone in on your crafts. So if you really truly are never planning on working again, as you move over from 4% down to 3%, you can see that even being as conservative as a 50% stock, 50% bond portfolio, you still have a 100% chance of success with the 3% safe withdrawal rate. So if you are only withdrawing 3% year over year of your initial portfolio investment, almost likely will never, ever fail, and you will never run out of money. So again, the formula is your annual expenses times 25 for a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, or your annual expenses times 33 for a safe withdrawal rate of 3%. And the 3% just assumes you will never, ever make another cent ever again. And you should be able to live off that money in perpetuity. So once you've calculated that number, you're going to add on any single one-time expenses. So these are big costs. So for example, paying for a kid's college, that will be a one-time annual expense. Or say you want a really nice wedding, you're going to factor that in too. So say for example, your annual expenses every year are averaging around $50,000. You would multiply that by 25 if you were going for a 4% safe withdrawal rate. That will put you at $1,250,000. And say you would like to pay for your kids' college educations, and that is another $250,000 and you multiply that by 2 for 2 kids, that will put you at an additional $500,000. So that would be $1,750,000 that you would target for your FIRE number. This formula actually accounts for inflation. I always get like, does this account for inflation? And the answer is yes, because assuming average market returns are at 10%, you're going to subtract inflation. So 10% minus 3% is somewhere around 7%, and you're withdrawing at 4%. So this formula really does take into consideration average rates of inflation and average market returns. But something I will say that this formula does not account for is lifestyle inflation. This really assumes that your lifestyle stays about the same, that you don't get the itch to like spend extravagantly once you retire early, that you kind of live the life that you are currently living so that your average expenses do stay the same. So I know that for me, when I actually retire, I really don't see myself like booking 5-star hotels and flying first class everywhere. Like that's just not really what I value spending on. So for me, I'm not increasing my lifestyle. I definitely prioritize being able to retire early and become financially independent over, being able to eat caviar every single day. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what I am actually targeting for my FIRE number and how I got to the number that I did. Currently, as a single income, no kids woman, DINK is the acronym that is used commonly in the FIRE community. DINK would be double income, no kids, or DI 1K, like double income, one kid. So those are just like acronyms which can get a little bit confusing, but I am technically a SINK. And no, that does not mean like wash your hands, sink. So when I'm referring to that, that's what that means. I'm single income, no kids. And my current annual expenses are around $30,000 each year. I'm currently living at home with my parents, but I base this number off of my lifestyle in Los Angeles after living there for 10 years. So based on that, I spend about $30,000 a year. Part of my plans for early retirement, though, is having kids. I really want to be a mom one day. And I can't really plan for the unknown cost of having a kid and saving for their college and all of those kinds of expenses. So to safely ensure that I am able to have children with or without a partner, I am doubling my annual expenses to $60,000. This way, I feel like I have a safety net of, if I have a child on my own, to like be able to take care of them and live well within my means. So my annual expenses are $30,000 and I'm doubling that to $60,000. So based on that, I'm multiplying that by 25 and I get my FIRE number of $1.5 million. And this, I think I will be able to save for my kids' education, be able to take care of them on my own. And if I were to have a partner and we double that, then potentially our collective FIRE number might be double that, so $3 million. And I feel like that would safely take care of any children that we would have. I am planning on withdrawing at a 4% rate just because I know that I'm not going to sit around and do nothing. I mean, I will and am planning on being a stay-at-home mom and taking care of my kids, but I still think I will pursue hobbies that, earn income. Like if I run an Etsy shop or I have this YouTube channel, and I will just be able to enjoy time with my kids and kind of side hustle as I want to and make money, doing things I love. So I'm setting myself up for passive income that generates more money. And therefore, I don't feel the need to do a extremely conservative 3% safe withdrawal rate. Yeah, my FIRE number is $1.5 million. And I think also something that's important to keep in mind for your own FIRE number is it can change, and it has changed. It used to be 1.25 for me, and now I've increased it to 1.5 just because I felt like it was a safer, more round number. And you should always, I think, plan for the unknown. You don't know if your health expenses end up being really crazy, just having backup plans. So that is my plan for my FIRE number. Again, $1.5 million. I think that's a safe bet for me, but always subject to change. And I think it's really important to just stay true to yourself and feel what's best for you, because it's your life. And don't let anybody tell you that that's too little. Or I think that's something I get a lot, is that like everybody's like, only $1.5 million? And the answer to that is yes. There are many other people before me who have done this. I don't think I would be a pioneer in the space and be pursuing financial independence and early retirement, specifically early retirement, if there weren't other people who have flourished in early retirement, and I see them, and I want that too. And I want that for you, and I want that for everybody to know that they can retire early and not have to be working until you're 65, which is what I always thought you had to do. So to recap all of the how to retire early videos, be sure to check out the first video on how to get in the right mindset for FIRE, the second one on tracking your money and learning to cut back your expenses, and the third one, this one that you're watching, just to recap, it's all about finding your FIRE number. So I hope you found this series helpful. I think it's so important, whether or not you retire early, to really have the ability to choose whether or not you want to work and be work optional. And that is truly what will help you enjoy life better, knowing that you don't have to work, that it's optional. And I'm really excited for you to be on this journey with me and follow along as we go through this adventure to early retirement. So if you've calculated your FIRE number, be sure to leave that in the comment below and share when we are all retiring early. So maybe we can coincide and like meet up for margaritas. So I hope you enjoyed this series. And as always, be sure to like this video so we can keep spreading the FIRE, and subscribe to Millennial Money Honey so you can get notified when the next video drops. And let's retire early together.